Welcome to the BrightWord Books Podcast. BrightWord is a leading platform for diverse storytelling, where voices from all backgrounds can share their unique narratives and connect with readers from around the world. Follow our regular podcast updates, where we strive to foster a literary community that celebrates creativity, inclusivity, and the transformative power of literature. Hello and welcome to the BrightWord Books Podcast. My name is John Lobb, and we have an exciting guest with us today, Mr. Robert Petties. Robert, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you all.
Well, we're glad that you could make a return visit for sure. Today's discussion revolves around challenges that we all face in our lives. For Robert, these challenges included guns, blood, and domestic violence. In Battle-Tested Soldier, Robert recounts his battles on 3 levels: physically, mentally, and spiritually. By recounting his experiences, Robert hopes to help people overcome many of their own life challenges and encourages each of us to take action for improving ourselves. Certainly sounds like an intriguing concept, Robert, and we're so pleased that you're back to spend a little bit more time with us talking about the book and the impact that it's had on its readers.
Well, thank you so much again. It's truly a pleasure to be here with you. I'm excited.
So, Robert, since the initial publication, I know you've got some 5-star reviews out there already. Have there been any thoughts that have come to your mind since you published the book about how you might have phrased something differently or changed anything at all if you were writing it over again?
Yeah, there's some things in the book that I probably would elaborated a little bit more on. Some of the things, especially dealing with the PTSD, how to handle that mental and spiritual battles that we deal with. I probably would have did something a little more. I was just trying not to overwhelm people in the book. That way they won't get bored by all the technical stuff. So, but I wanted to give them something that they can actually go to work with right away. And so I would have did that a little bit different, as well as the sharing a little bit more about some of my battles that I dealt with, dealing with PTSD, and domestic violence.
Interesting. Well, certainly based on the reviews I've seen, you're having an impact on those who have read the book for sure. Rest assured, your book is a success already, even if you might have done it a little bit differently second time around. So, have you learned anything new about yourself, Robert, since the publication of the book?
Yes, I've learned that I've gotten over many of the traumas that I dealt with. I've learned that I became more empowered, more energized now that has happened. So it has given me the ability to feel free to talk to other peoples about not only what I went to, but I became also a better listener because I can hear other people and when they're sharing their stories as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Has anyone who has read the book, have you had any backlash? Has anyone misunderstood something and said, "Hey, Robert, I disagree with you"? Any reactions like that?
No, I haven't had any negative backlashes or anything. I've had people that said they wish I would talked a little more again about the domestic violence or a little bit more about some of the battles in combat that I was in. But overall, it was all positive. They said that it really helped them make some changes in their life. So that, to me, that was the most important thing.
Absolutely. And I get the sense that obviously you're talking about pains in your life and challenges that you've had. Yours is a very personal story, and yet you're willing to share it for the world to see. I imagine that's difficult to share such personal details.
Well, I have to tell you, it is. It took a lot of courage at first. When you sharing your story, you putting yourself out there. And most of the time, I'm not one of those people that was used to being out. I was the quiet one. So being honest and sharing that pain publicly, especially in the book, it was both healing and incredibly draining at the same time too, because it drains you mentally and physically as well.
Absolutely. And yet it's what makes the book so special, the personal detail that you're willing to share and how much of yourself you put into the book.
Want to do that.
Absolutely. Without prying, are there any additional pains, any additional experiences that you didn't feel comfortable? You don't have to say what they are, but was there anything that you did not feel comfortable sharing that you might if you rewrote the book?
Well, there were some things I didn't share, but it wasn't because I was afraid. I felt that it wasn't right. The time wasn't right. I believe that timing is everything. And so, sometimes if you're not emotionally ready, or you feel like you're not on the right path of your healing journey, some things you have to just keep until you're ready to share that out because it's part of the healing process. So timing, I believe, is one of the most important things that I use in things about sharing, the purpose. And I want to make sure what I'm sharing is in alignment with the purpose and the intention what I was writing in the book. So I didn't want to draw away from that purpose. So some things I decided to wait into maybe to a later edition.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about addressing your challenges physically, mentally, and spiritually. Since the book has come out, since you finished it, are there any other approaches, any other tools that you become aware of that you think would be useful to include in a future edition?
Yes, is always seeking out new things because every tool is not 100%. And so I always wanted to make sure that I'm continuing learning about different things. So not only just for myself, but, to be able to help others. And one of the things I found that was helpful was the red light therapy. How you can put the red light on. They have now the ones with the mask that you can put on to help with your eyes, but it also helps with your anxiety and calmness. Some of those things. Tai Chi was another one. I tried practicing it on my own. I really felt it helped, and some of those things. So the Tai Chi, the different type of movements, yoga, some of those things that I found that I wasn't using before has been very helpful. So those are some of the new tools that I've challenged.
Interesting, interesting. And, there are some who will say, light therapy or Tai Chi, it's all hocus pocus. It's not really gonna help. And yet folks who partake feel like, yes, there is improvement. It does contribute to their mental and physical health. I wonder sometimes if the people who think, well, that's a wacky solution, haven't tried it yet and what they might experience if they were to give it a try.
I totally agree with you. And sometimes they haven't tried those things, but if they really, it's all about mindset too. If you get yourself in the right mindset and saying, look, I really want to do my best to see if this going to work for me. And then you take that time to do it, you benefit from it. But as you said, if you just, it don't work, I didn't do anything, but then you're not going to reap the benefit of what is truly designed for you to do.
Yep. And of course, if you never try something, it won't work because you haven't tried it.
Absolutely. Like me.
Robert, can you talk about the concept of forgiveness? How does someone who has dealt with the type of pain that you have in your life, how do you deal with forgiving people who caused the pain?
I have to truly say that forgiving others who cause you pain, take time. For one, someone who hurts you, and we have to understand that forgiveness doesn't mean you're going to forget about what took place or their actions. You're not even excusing their actions. You're just trying to understand that not to allow that hurt that they put upon you to control you, to dominate you, to control your future. So you have to get past it. So I just practice praying. I do pray. I have to also say that forgiving others has seemed to be a little easier than forgiving myself sometimes. I'm
Interesting.
harder on myself. So it was hard. It took me longer to forgive myself for certain things because I always felt that I could do better and I should have done better. And so I beat myself up on it versus somebody could do something to me now. And I'm like, okay, no problem, big deal. And I'm gone. To me, that's still a journey for me. is forgiving myself more.
Interesting. And I would venture to say a journey for all of us. And I think your insights are key there. The fact is, somebody can hurt you on a day, but they can only continue to hurt you day after day after day if you allow that in your mind, right? So if they hurt you and then you never see them again, but you never forgive and you never get over it, they're hurting you for the rest of your life potentially.
And they're controlling, like you said, controlling your life. They affect the decisions that you make in your future. When they're gone, long gone, doing their life, you're still holding on to that. You have to get rid of that. Once you get rid of that, you'll find that you have less stress in your life because you're not holding on to this baggage that has nothing to do with your future. You carry, so you have to let that go and just, I say, drop it and just leave it where it is and keep on going. Because if not, you're going to be stuck right there. That person who hurt you, they don't probably even forget who you were and still move.
Absolutely. It seems like another theme I'm getting, Robert, is that of taking responsibility for your own life. Nobody else. Have you had anybody, any of a reader, or maybe you got a question at a conference or a speaking event where essentially what they're saying, in not so many words, but they're saying, Robert, you figured it out. You've got the secret. So tell me what to do. Have you had that happen?
I actually have, and it was with another veteran, and we were sitting down at the VA and just sharing stories, and then I found out that he actually read the book, and so
Wonderful.
it was really cool. So we were sitting there talking, and he started talking about some of the things, the memories and the scars that he had felt in his life, and then after reading the book, he told me that it convinced him that he can do something about it. That he didn't have to be ashamed to share what he was going through, the broken feelings that he was dealing with. He admitted some of the struggles that he was having because he said he saw that I was able to admit some of those struggles in my book. So he felt empowered to be able to say, you know what, I can do this. So he started sharing his story. He said, by telling his story, made him feel better when he started telling his family and friends for some of the things that he endured. And he told me, thank you for giving him the strength to be able to do that because now he's in a different stage in his life because of it.
Wonderful. And when you think about it, the only person that can forgive anyone who's hurt Robert is Robert. And for that gentleman, the only person in the whole world, 6, 7, 8 billion people, the only person that can help him find the peace of forgiveness is him. And same for all of us, right? Responsibility for your own life.
And being okay, it's okay to feel, especially as men, because we taught as a young age being a rough, tough guy, you don't show feelings, you don't show emotions and so things like that. It's okay. Even in the Bible, it tells us there's a time for everything. And it's okay to mourn. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to not be okay. Yeah. You don't have to be perfect, and never have anything going on with your life because I think sometimes we try to feel like we don't, but it's those things that we endure in life that what makes us so much better. So it's okay.
Absolutely. It's the struggle that forges character. I
Yes.
think you make a great point. Men tend to hide emotion. Perhaps we're raised not to show emotion, not to show fear. And I think sometimes that leads to challenges that men have in particular, as compared to women, dealing with pain and finding the strength to forgive.
Yeah. Once you change that, at least for me, being a special forces, you have this image that you have to keep. You endure more pain than most people do. So you hide things even from your soldiers. Why? Because you're a leader. And even that fear you hide from them. So some people say, oh, that person never be afraid. Oh, yes, they're afraid. They're just not showing it to you.
Absolutely. Would you say your understanding of leadership is different today than it was when you were in the military?
Yes, there are some things that stay the same about accountability. I do believe in the military and as a civilian, you have to have accountability for the things that you do. Regardless of if there's right or wrong, we have to understand that there's consequences for our actions. And so that leadership to me now is not really the title or rank or about the commanded authority that you normally have with leadership, but with the book, it really leans more now to that resilience, that empathy, and also having that courage to stand up to others because sometimes it's harder to stand up for yourself than it is for others. Even for myself as a leader, I would stand up for my soldiers on the drop of a dime. But there was time that I endured certain things because I didn't want to stand up to my leaders. So I just went on ahead and just sucked it up. But now, having survived the war and that pain and stuff like that, I've learned really now that leadership is also listening, listening now as a civilian versus, I was used to telling everybody what to do, but now I'm listening. So it's not about being unbreakable too, you can be broken, and it's okay, but it's also about being brave enough to rebuild. And that's another thing I found that through my brokenness, I found strength in the courage to rebuild those things that was broken to me, and that to me also is a different understanding of leadership now than it was before.
Absolutely. And for someone watching today who may feel like their life is broken, having the courage to rebuild your life. In other words, I think what you're telling people is you can rebuild your life. You're not stuck for good.
Absolutely. When you're going through bad relationships or you have a financial problem that really sets you back, or in domestic violence or anything, you have to just rebuild. You have to take a look at yourself first, find out what about me? What were some things that I could have done different? And then identify and say, I'm going to do these things different. I'm going to do what I wasn't doing because what I was doing got me to where I am now. So allow me to do something different so I can move forward. And you find yourself feeling so much better when you got rid of that unnecessary debt that you had. You find yourself better when you gave up what was so terrible in that relationship and you found someone else and you giving them a chance to love you because you decided for once that you was going to love yourself too. And so you go, and that's all a part of that rebuilding process. I tell people all the time, even in the Christians and ministry, that sometimes God break us because we all messed up, and then he rebuild us and shape us back to the way we should be. And that's how we have to do ourselves too. So, okay, I'm broke. That part is broke. Okay, I'm going to fix this though, because now you're going to get the better version of me. That old broken part is gone.
But only if you take that step.
Only if you take that step. And it takes courage within yourself to take that step. It's all about the resilience, what we were talking about, all these things building up as well. And I have a saying that I always say, no matter what we're going through, and the subtitle of the book is I'm Still Standing, is because you can go through so much. I mean, you can get beat down to the lowest level in your life, but you have to be resilient enough to say, hey, I might be down now, but I'm going to get back up just like that boxer. He's getting beat and beat and beat. And he get knocked down so many times, as I would say, the Rock in the movie, how many times he got down, but he kept on going. And then I said, we have to have that resilience too, like that mountain being planted on the earth. You can bomb it, you can use artillery, you can throw natural disasters at it, but when it all clears, that mountain still stands. And that's how we have to be. We endure it, we learn, we go through it and say, hey, but you know what? I'm still here.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Really a life lesson in essence, not just a self-help book by any means. I mean, this is really a blueprint for how to take your imperfect life, and guess what? All of us have an imperfect life. None of us is perfect. despite what we want to show on social media, right?
Right.
There's the Facebook version of life, and then there's reality. So sounds intriguing. Is there one thing, Robert, just one thing that a reader would take from your book? What would you hope that would be?
Reader, one thing, that you're not alone. You're not alone. If they don't remember anything else and they can't take it, that you're not alone. You're not forgotten, and your story will make a difference. Your story that will help someone. So you're not alone. I really believe that, because once you feel that you're not alone, you can start your healing journey. It's hard when you're trying to do it by yourself.
Absolutely. Inspiring indeed. Indeed. Robert, what is next for you? Will there be a next volume?
There's a plan. I'm working on part 2 of Battle Tested Soldier, which would entail a lot of different battles, and physical battles and real battles and combat and challenges that I had to endure, and that also some integrity issues in there. So there's some things that going to place in there. And then I'm trying to really get out more and speaking more, trying to hone in that skill, because again, the most important thing, I want to be able to be effective in helping people. In the military, you learn, know yourself and seek self-improvement. So my improvement was going and learning public speaking, getting out there, how to really connect with the audience so they can receive what you're trying to give them. So that's what's next for me, is the mentorship, the public speaking. I'm just really trying to help individuals. If I can help one person, then I feel that I'm successful. I don't have to help a million. I would like that, but if I can help one, then I serve my purpose.
Wonderful. Robert, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a absolutely delightful conversation, and have so much respect for you, having gone through what you've gone through and come out a stronger man and a better man. And your message being that all of us have that power to do the same. So really inspiring.
Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you allowing me this opportunity to be able to share the journey and to be able to talk to your audience and let them know that, again, they're not alone. There's people out there with them, and don't be silent and share their story. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you.
Oh, we thank you so much. We've been speaking today with Robert Petties, author of Battle Tested Soldier, now available on Amazon and everywhere fine books are sold. Thank you, Robert. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the BrightWord Books Podcast, home of the literary community that celebrates creativity, inclusivity, and the transformative power of literature. Don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss future episodes. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.